Greetings, this is Coach Jackie, and in this video I will talk to you about how to set goals that you can achieve. In addition to sharing with you why goal setting is important and how to set SMART goals in 7 steps, I will also spend some time talking about pitfalls to avoid, because often it is those pitfalls that make it difficult for us to achieve our goals. So setting goals is important for many reasons, and science has even proven this. There has been some research that has been done in that setting goals keeps you moving, it increases your happiness, it really helps you to put all your resources together in a focused manner. And I can share with you 2 very simple theories related to goal setting. The first one is a theory that was proposed by Edwin Locke, who was an industrial organizational psychologist. And for Locke, what he suggested was that you need to set goals that are beyond your current capacity. So stretch goals. So don't set goals that are too easy, but also don't set goals that are too difficult. So this is an important thing to remember when you're setting goals that you want to achieve. But the second theory is around intentional change, because if you focus on an objective in the future, that is, if you set a goal, all available resources, neurological resources, psychological, physical, physiological, actually come together to help you to achieve that goal, even if you're not necessarily aware of it all the time. But now I'm going to move into setting goals in 7 steps. And the 7 steps that I'm going to share with you are, first of all, visualize. I mean, imagine what it is that you want to achieve. This is what I mean by visualization. Secondly, make your goals SMART. And I think a lot of people are familiar with SMART goal setting. I will not spend too much time on this, because in this video I want to focus more on the pitfalls that you need to avoid. Write your goals down, develop an action plan, maintain a timeline, do it. You would be surprised how many people set goals and then they don't actually implement them. And then the 7th step is to review and evaluate. So talking about the first step, visualizing, imagine what you are going to be like, or what you're going to feel like when you have achieved your goal. What does success look like? And this is important because I like to ask this question. How will you know that you have achieved your goal? This is what I mean when I say visualize what success looks like. But also ask yourself, is this something that you really want? Is it something that is worth putting in hours of time and effort? If you're not willing to put in the time, it actually may not be a goal worth pursuing. You could also create a long list of goals, but then you're unlikely to achieve all of them. So also prioritize. Pick 1 or 2 goals that you really, really want to achieve, and then put your effort into those goals. So visualizing, picturing whatever it is that you want to achieve is an important first step to creating goals that you can achieve. Once you've zeroed in on what you actually want, check that your goal meets the SMART criteria. So is it specific? If you were to articulate that goal to somebody else, would they know exactly what it is that you're looking to achieve? Is it measurable? And when I say measurable, I mean, are you going to be able to tell when you have achieved that goal? And how are you going to be able to tell that you have achieved that goal? So is it a question of a number? Is it a question of a certain number of days? Is it a question of a different feeling that you're going to have? It's really, really important that you're able to measure your goal. Is it attainable? I mean, is it something that is within human capacity to do? Is it realistic given your resources, the amount of time that you have, and all that? Because remember Locke's theory, if the goal is too easy, you will not be motivated. But at the same time, if it is not realistic, if it is too difficult, if it is too out of the world, you are also not going to achieve it. And then finally, is it time bound? So within what period of time do you want to have achieved that goal? I would say that perhaps the most important part of SMART goal setting is to make sure that your goal is specific, so that you can clearly track your progress in order to know whether you meet the goal, or to know when you have met the goal. So the more specific you can be with your goal, the higher the chances of completing it. And one common example is, when you set a goal to lose weight, determine how much weight within what period of time. I want to lose 2 kilograms by Jamhuri Day within 3 months or within the year. This is very, very specific, and it is easier for you to achieve it. Writing down your goals, this is the third step, has been shown actually by research to help you to improve, that it helps to improve chances of achieving those goals. Actually, somebody did some research where some people wrote down their goals and others did not. And all those people who wrote down their goals achieved their goals to a higher extent than those who did not. That is, more of those people who wrote down their goals achieved their goals than those who did not write them down. The thing is that once you write your goal down, it becomes real and tangible, and it's not just a vague idea in your mind. And also, you can write it down and put it in a place where you will see it regularly so that it reminds you that you're working towards it. The fourth step is to ensure that you create an action plan. So how are you moving from where you are today to the next point, and to the point after that, and to the point after that? You've got the overall goal, but then you've got different milestones so that you can track your progress. And then you can also celebrate different milestones and not just wait to get to the end of the goal before you celebrate. You can create a timeline. This helps you to make sure that your goal is time bound. What deadlines do you have for different milestones? Try to stick to them as closely as possible. What will you do tomorrow, next week, next month, in 3 months to achieve your goal? A timeline helps to create a sense of urgency, and this motivates you to stay on schedule and finish your goal. And of course, if for some reason you fall behind, you can always just readjust your timeline. But having a timeline in the first instance will help you to stick with your goal. Sixth, do it. Once you've planned everything out, take action. I like to give this example. I mean, you can sit under a mango tree and wish that you could drink mango juice. You have to get the mangoes and squeeze the juice out of them. So take action if you want to achieve your goal. And finally, keep reviewing and re-evaluating your progress, making changes here and there as necessary. Now I want to go to the next stage of the session, where I would like to talk about certain pitfalls that you need to avoid. And these pitfalls, some of them are related to the 7 steps that I have spoken about. So first of all, is your goal visionable? That is, can you picture it? Can you feel it? Can you literally taste it? This level of engagement with your goals will actually provide much deeper inspiration and motivation. If you find that you've got a goal, but somehow you don't really feel it, it doesn't really excite you, you're not passionate about it, maybe you need to revisit that goal. Is it really something that you want, or are you just trying to do things because you should have done this by this age, or somebody thinks that you should have done it? Is that goal aligned to your values? Because if it's not, your subconscious is actually going to resist, and you will find that for some reason you just don't get around to doing what you need to do in order to achieve your goal. So check for alignment with your values as well. Is your goal a source of fun or pleasure? This is another thing. If your goal is only about super sacrifice, super exertion, super effort, no time for holidays, no time for fun, chances are you're not going to achieve that goal. So see that you can set goals that allow you to find some fun in it or some pleasure in it. Otherwise, you're going to struggle with them and you're not going to achieve those goals. Another thing that you need to check for, because this is a very common pitfall, is, do you have control over the elements of your goal? And another way of asking this is, do you accept responsibility for your goal? If you set a goal that relies on somebody giving you this, or somebody doing that for you, or somebody helping you with this, that goal is not within your control. How are you going to achieve it? Goals that rely on someone else doing something or giving you something are difficult to achieve simply because you cannot control someone else. If you find yourself assigning responsibility for undone actions or unmet goals, then you need to ask yourself whether that is really your goal, because it's going to get in the way of your achieving that goal. In addition to ensuring that your goals are smart as well as visionable, aligned to your values, as I have explained, that they have got an element of fun, that they are in your control, I would also like to remind you to take care to avoid a few common traps. One of them is this: the goal is too difficult. If it's too much of a stretch, you are not going to achieve it. And I keep coming back to this because there are some people who think that the more difficult the goal, the better it is. But then it becomes even more difficult to achieve. So if you have never run competitively for the last 20 years, and then you set yourself a goal of running a marathon within a year, and to run that marathon in less than 2 hours, I mean, it's a real stretch. and chances are you're not going to achieve it. But on the other end, if the goal is too easy, it's also, why should you put any effort in it? So don't set a goal for something that you can already do, or for something that you are already doing, or for something that you can do with your eyes closed, because honestly, you won't be motivated when you achieve that goal, because you won't have experienced any growth. But another big thing that a lot of people forget is they forget to account for what they need to learn. We very, very often forget that we need to learn things in order to achieve goals. And why do I say this? Because usually you haven't achieved that goal because there's something that you're not doing, or there's something that you're doing that perhaps you need to stop. And that action of starting something or stopping something is actually a learning action. Maybe you have set a goal to spend more quality time with your family. But in order for you to create more quality time with your family, you need to learn to say no to your boss, for example. And so you need to account for the fact that you need to learn how to say no. Or perhaps you want to lose weight and you haven't accounted for the fact that you need to learn how to select nutritious foods that are also low calorie, or how to learn that you need to learn which exercises you need to do. So when you forget that there are certain things you might need to learn, you don't account for that learning process, you don't account for the time that you need to learn, you might find that you cannot achieve your goals, however smart they are. So not accounting for learning can cause you not to achieve your goals. But sometimes we get so focused on the goal that we forget to have a safety net when things don't work out. Remember, things don't always work out as planned. So what's your plan B in case they don't? How will you recover and restart? We have seen athletes, for example, who train for 4 years for the Olympics. They are selected by their countries to go and represent them for the Olympics, but then they don't make the cut. They don't even get a bronze medal. Does that mean that they're going to stop being athletes? So how are you going to pick yourself up? It's very, very important to have a safety net in case things don't go the way you want. It's also important to acknowledge and accept the price that you have to pay in order to achieve your goal. There's always a price to pay. Maybe it's giving up time with your friends in order to study for certification, or maybe it's sleeping 30 minutes less in order to wake up and go to the gym, or it might be turning down a promotion in order to spend more time with your family. What is the price that you have to pay in order to achieve that goal, and are you ready to pay it? So I have spoken about how to set smart goals, but more importantly, I have also shared with you some of the things that you need to look out for, the things that get in the way of achieving your goals. And I hope that you will be able to set goals that you can achieve. This is Coach Jackie. Thank you.